was only for the night. Waking up in different places, but I stopped running from my life, and all the pieces found their places. My heart is home with you.
So today's trek takes us on a nice meander downhill, something like 10 to 12 kilometers. We get into the town where it's looking like we will need to get some additional provisions, because with the way everybody's been eating, by which I mean Jessica, we really don't have enough. And so we will see what they have in this pueblo, which could have anything from just barely a market store with maybe some like local Creole eggs to like a mini REI outpost.
We just made it into the town, the one town that has like, there's actually a little pueblo, little village here that has a store, like a tienda that has some groceries, Whimsy, and potentially internet. Yeah, why don't we get some bananas too? Okay, fine. Down.
The situation here is that our eggs are not tied tightly enough. The senora kind of screwed us in really just barely crisscrossing this thing. Now, fortunately, our near zero first aid kit comes with duct tape. Now, clearly this is to like create a splint and, you know, for serious like, you know, gashes where a tree limb has gone through your leg and you need to just stop the bleeding. We have an almost as urgent issue here with the salvation of our eggs.
Whimsy is like bucket-sized hungry. Whimsy, look, schnauz up, okay.
Day, whatever the fuck this is. It seems like each morning gets colder than the last. My favorite part of this whole experience is the hiking, because at least we're moving and blood is flowing.
The horseflies have been absolutely terrible all in this stretch once we got into this valley. It's like they started killing us from over there and they're still killing us as we go up. So I don't know, Greg's flapping his thing around to try and get rid of them. I'm just shaking my head because I've got my hands in my poles in my hands. I'm ready for a rest. It's been a long one. This is a hard day.
Jessica seems to have poisoned her own self, since she was the cook, and the water sterilizer. So I'm getting this on the record. She had to leave the tent a couple of times. And so I think she's gonna hunker down today. And we're leaving Jess behind, which is much to her preference. So she's probably just gonna spend the day back and forth from the bathroom and the sleeping bag.
I've been in bed all day. I had some food poisoning or water poisoning or something. I did it to myself yesterday. And so today, Greg and Whimsy, they went and did the last full day's hike. And I stayed here. And it's been fine. I've had some food. I just feel weak. It's just that feeling of after vomiting and pooping and all of that. It's like, ugh.
Meanwhile, Whimsy is enjoying the hell out of this because she is just doing one water crossing after another.
So I've just been here hanging out, and Greg should be back soon, and make one last dinner, and then tomorrow it's a 4-hour hike out, and then we'll be back in Juarez.
So we are setting off on day final.
Day final.
And it's supposed to be, what, a 3-4 hour?
Yeah, 4 hours to the town.
During yesterday's solo trek with Whimsy, I actually blew out a tendon in the back of my knee pretty bad. And I wasn't gonna say anything about it because no one wants to hear you complain about this hurts and that hurts.
I still don't feel so well. Oh.
Meanwhile, we've got Jessica, who just barely was able to get a few spoonfuls of mashed potatoes down last night, so she doesn't have anything like the energy level that she needs for a 16-kilometer trek. So my knee tendon has flared up quite considerably. It's painful for sure. So I sent Jess on ahead so that they could connect with the vehicle. I mean, the last thing we want is to lose our ride.
I just sent our muleteer Irlandés to go and rescue Greg. I told him that he had hurt his knee. It's about 2 kilometers out up on the steep part. So he left his donkeys and Greg's gonna sit on the horse and Irlandés will walk along.
They would have to drag my dead rotting bones off this mountain to get me to go on the horse and not finish this by foot. Oh, we're getting close now, but this is definitely a final indignity, final suffering.
I even told Irlandés, he doesn't know you're coming, but tell him to go on the horse. Gracias.
Ha sido un placer.
Yes, gracias.
Muchas gracias. Made it down, survived. No horses involved.
Even though I tried.
No spot emergency button involved. Just my own willpower and stubbornness.
Okay, settle up. We're getting ready to leave here. I feel like we've been here for quite a while, but we're heading out now. I know, I've got chapstick on.
So today's plan is to get all the way from Huaraz here in the Andes to Lima. So this is a big push. Jess is already dropping things and things are falling all over. Whimsy's been tiger sharking her way around the grounds here this whole morning. One of the things that I'm loving about today's ride is this right here. Jessica's loaded down. So we have gear from the Huayhuash trek that we haven't unloaded yet. Mine is a beast. Tenderfoot is just out of control. But I'll tell you what, I always say that I would chop my own arm off just to inconvenience Jess with cleaning up the blood. We have powered through a 2-hour and 55-minute stretch of riding, and we found a spot that has done an interesting twist on the usual coffee shop. It's not a coffee shop, it's a coffee and shop. The bikes are serviced, the bikes are chomping at the bit, and not chomping, but it's actually champing. The next stop is to change the tires.
So we're here at Big Trail Center. We're getting our new tires put on because it is time before we head into Brazil.
En esta oportunidad han elegido las motos GPS, vienen con caucho blando y del mismo modo tienen una buena capacidad de absorción a todo lo que son los golpes y del mismo modo baches o todo lo que se pueda presentar en la ruta.
Obviously, I'm a little bit concerned what they're like in the rain, but all tires have issues in the rain, so it is what it is. But we're going to test these out. We are going to Ica tomorrow. Tonight, though, we have our event at El Camino Moto Garage, where we're going to be talking about what it's like to travel with this big creature.
We have arrived at the El Camino Moto Garage, which is kind of like Peru's Bike Shed Moto that they have in London and in LA. They do kind of a little of everything here. They've got a gear store, they've got the workshop, They've got a restaurant. The event last night went wonderfully well. Decent turnout. People were enthusiastic. We gave away more free items than I think we had people in attendance, which is really always kind of a win for everybody.
3, 8, 5, 2. People don't even want to win it anymore. 3, 8, 5, 2.
And we get out of here. We're going to meet up with Victor Manuel, who was at the event last night. And we're gonna ride south towards Ica.
On a dreary day.
On a really dreary day.
Es un vino.
Con fruta o de fruta?
Con fruta, con su fruta. Por
Yeah.
variable, pues porque tiene el sabor de la fruta.
Ajá.
No es un alcohol puro como se podría decir. Muy bueno. Muy bueno.
It's sweet. This hotel, they actually donated for our raffle yesterday at El Camino Moto Garage for our Girl Up event, and like they do have rooms available, but they were more expensive than what we wanted to pay for.
So, why the hell would you camp in the gym? I guess because it's there?
Oh, the police are free, Jesus.
Our hotel gym campsite last night is located not in Huacachina, which is sort of the tourist attraction. So we're taking a tuk-tuk to basically have said that we've been there. So this is Huacachina, and this restaurant is Huaca fucking China. So the question is that clever?
So this is a lagoon that's surrounded by sand dunes. So it's sort of like Lago Atilan surrounded by volcanoes, but it's sand dunes. But to me, it reminds me of Greg's grandmother. She lived in Palm Springs in like a retirement home, and they had all the homes around it like this, and the laguna in the middle.
Both of those analogies are false. So this is not like Atitlan with its 3 majestic volcanoes. And the retirement community in which my grandmother lived, okay, maybe that's a little bit of a closer comparison. The correct way to see the Nazca lines is to go up in one of the little airplanes, little Cessnas, and you know, you fly overhead and the pilot does really sharp turns. I did that about 15 years ago and it sucked. It was absolutely horrible, and I got so nauseous, and mostly just demonstrates what a pussy I am. And so this is not the best way to see them, and yet it is the only way
we're gonna see them today.
It's been a frigidly cold morning of riding, even though the sun has generally been out.
Yes, I am wearing all of my layers, trying to stay warm.
And we're actually starting to feel some snow. We are back down at about 2,300 meters, which means it is so much more pleasant here. And generally what you find is an access that they've created so that they can come down and wash their clothes and wash their car. Now, I condone neither of those in the river. So day end success. We have found a wild camping spot. This one actually courtesy for a change of iOverlander. It's relatively flat, it's relatively kind of graded, and it's relatively totally isolated. It is always dangerous when Jessica has a cell service inside the tent.
I'm doing work about the vet.
And now she's watching a vlog. So when Jess has cell service inside the tent, it's anybody's guess when you're gonna see her. She's hunkered, she's cozy inside, she's comfortable. Her bladder is like a steel trap, so she could last months in there like a hibernating bear and not have to do the necessaries. Me, I wake up on fire. I gotta get out and pee quick. Probably that's because I drink before I get into bed. Jessica's been on a 15-minute search for her bike key. I'm sitting here hungered making our scrambled eggs and drinking my coffee. Whimsy's been basically shit disturbing. We're all doing exactly what we were built and designed to do.
Yes.
So all of this turns out to be a pooping incident. Hopefully they didn't get mixed in.
I found them. I think what I did last night is I probably put them in my back pocket like this. As I took off my pants, they flucked out. Luckily they flucked out like away from my spot. Stay. Stay. Okay, go pee. Okay. We're here at the, not at the vet, we're actually around the corner from the vet, and we've asked this nice lady to watch the bikes because you can't find parking anywhere, and it's like a main road there, you can't park on the street. And so we're gonna get her documents. I hope that they can take her in right now. We didn't really make an appointment, but here we are, getting rid of the fur. We made it to our Casa Brujo. It's all to ourselves, which is very nice. Oh, very nice. We got doggy snacks. Great. This is perfect.
It's like a palace-sized bathroom.
And a nice big bed, king-size bed.
We won't even have to know each other's in there. Suddenly our house here has become a ghost house and a fucking discotheque with some sort of bizarre electricity situation going on and some really shitty neighbors.
Okay, Whipple, let's go, saddle up. We're now on our way towards the Brazilian border. It's been a bit tough since Y-Wash and being in that really cold weather. Of just like feeling good and getting warm again.
Somehow Whimsy has freed her tail from the tail hole in her paw guards. This dog is absolutely incredible at how abusive she is with all of her stuff. With how much quality I know goes into our RUFFLY gear, it's still incredible that she just doesn't tear it to shreds because she's just a brute.
Who you share 'em with, and it's life, and the point is enjoying who you share it with. Joy is who you share it with.
Whimsy and I have left the bikes that are over there because they are infested with some sort of wasp. I don't know what happened and where they came from, but all of a sudden when Greg took his Tillamook's from the ground, put one on his bike, it was on his arm, and then he pushed it down and he got stung, and then all of a sudden they all came out, and now they're surrounding our bikes. I don't know, we're just gonna have to wait it out a little bit. It's doing nothing. How's the swarm, Greg?
It seems to be not particularly interested in us, so as long as you don't make fast
Whimsy
mistakes like that, you're gonna be okay. Whimsy, fuck off.
Come here.
You're doing this to yourself.
Come.
Success in extricating ourselves from the wasp-loaded prison that our campsite ended up becoming this morning. Jess's bike is just a little bit taller than mine because I have a progressively lowered Touratech shock, which subtly gives me like 20 millimeters of reduced height. Jess does not have that
Whimsy,
because
come.
in Amazonian
Whimsy.
fashion, she is taller than me. Thus, it screws me when I am riding her bike and doing her a solid. Now we press on, destined towards the border to be crossed within the next 2 days. This bustling metropolis is the primary town in this kind of corner of Peru, Puerto Maldonado. It is, as we've been told by some riders coming through, the only place with hotels between here and the border. We thought this was absolutely going to be a backwater, and in certain senses it kind of is in the best possible way. But ever since we got onto this highway basically east of Cusco, we have, for the first time pretty much ever, been running into other riders. Mostly Brazilian riders. So this highway, interoceanic south, must be some very popular route. But when it comes to Brazilian moto travelers, this is like the thoroughfare.
Whimsy has a terrible habit of like hiding under the table and using it as her cave so that she has protection when other dogs or people are coming by. And then she just like peeks out from under the table and starts barking, and then she gets excited and she stands up and like the whole table goes crazy.
I like to see that toughness in her, but if you're gonna go out and knife fight, there's no hiding under the table and just, you know, sticking your prick out.
Stay. There's a bunch of vultures here. I think they're waiting for Greg to die.
And then Whimsy's gonna hunt them when they're picking up bones.
Mm-hmm.
We had howler monkeys in the distance, which was phenomenal. We had fish jumping. We've got horses, we've got cows. Likewise, the birds have been squawking like crazy, so they've been kind of being assholes. Jessica is agelessly known for her word tangles, her word salads of basically her brain thinks faster than her mouth and her lips can produce words, and so sometimes they jumble into contractions of 2 or more other words. Last night it took a bit of a turn because she called my bike the cum bike. And it was we're not entirely sure she wanted me to come to the bike or come, but it was talking about the bike, so the cum bike.
A migración.
Okay.
Sí.
Jessica, you've been absolutely ravaged by the gnats.
Where?
You look like a human feast.
Or here, I got it on my face.
You got
too.
a big old...
This one got caught in my helmet.
Ugh.
I remember I told you it was stinging me, and I was trying to get my hand up under the pad, and then the pad started coming out.
And what did I say?
I don't know.
I just said, pussy.
Look, Whimsy, look. Say. Look. Yeah. We're doing some photos with Whimsy. She's doing very good with treats right in front of our in the immigration for Brazil. Good girl, Whimsy. Good girl. So for Brazil, they didn't ask me much about Whimsy. I had all of her export papers, which we probably paid $200 in total of all of that from Peru. Nobody asked to see it. What you do have to do is declare your animal, and so I declared her, and the declaration actually goes on my vehicle declaration. So I've got a line for my motorcycle, and then I've got a line for Whimsy's value. So we know that I have to make sure that I export her out of this country. So Greg's whole idea of selling her at some point just can't happen in Brazil.
There was a little bit of uncertainty about what value we should declare for her, right? Because the tigers have clearly been put a lot of miles on and they've depreciated. And it turns out we did the exact same thing with Whimsy. We depreciated her quite a bit, which is consistent with how she looks at this point, from just having plunged through the pond. And the red clay socks that she's wearing.
So this is a very popular motorcycle road where these guys are doing a tour even. So it's a lot of riders.
I've been wondering for days now as we've been riding on this highway past Cusco towards Brazil, what's the fucking deal with all the bikes we're seeing? And they're all Brazilian. And it turns out that this is just a very popular moto route for the Brazilians. This is kind of their way of getting to know this side of their country and then getting to come into the Andes and get some of that experience. We've got new flavors of things, which may be old flavors of things. I just can't pronounce the new flavors that are old flavors. Machao, so I don't know, mamao, and banana. And then we have another issue of the haze that's been following us for about 2 days, and it's not our attitudes. It is, truthfully, the burning of the fields here. We've reached the Amazon.
Oh, Amazon. At least a slice of the Amazon.
This is a teeny pizza slice of the Amazon. It goes through like a couple of kilometers of the Amazon, so it's sort of like cheating.
Yeah, well, it's the Amazon province.
It's not much to look at, obviously, at this point. We've stopped here where we've gotten a caldo de caña. It's cane juice, and it's incredibly sweet. It's basically like a Coca-Cola without all the bullshit.
This is like how the cowboys used to do it, except it's not a dirty sock. It's actually like a proper coffee filter, and it looks very nice. This morning we are heading towards the Amazon. So there is this stretch of the Trans-Amazonian Highway. I think this is like the last part of it. So we are going to be riding it. It's about 200 kilometers of dirt, and it's this red dirt. I don't know how packed down it is, if it's soft, if it's gonna be muddy because it has rained for a few days. And I'm sure it's gonna be close to 40 degrees again today.
About 30 minutes in, we pulled over in front of this guy's house because he's got a tree out front and a little bench, and so we thought that would be shade and comfort. And then he came out because of the barking of his dogs and said hello, and then has offered us ice water. Oh, but he go.
Nice.
Oh. Excelente. And this gentleman, who I guess is fair to say is an Amazonian, because that's where we are.
So this is a cashew tree. I don't think I've ever seen it in real life. Oh wow. Oh wow, look. Este parte, no?
Yeah.
Wow.
Tira.
Uh-huh.
Tá quente, deixa eu botar na geleira lá.
Wow. Did you know this is how cashews grow?
I had no idea, to be honest. My favorite nut.
Só vai estar bom amanhã, tá quente. Leva quando para plantar.
Esta parte.
É.
E esta parte se pode comer?
Pode comer com casca
Essa?
e tudo, pode comer com casca e tudo.
Oh, okay. So we reached this spot, and all of a sudden there was a thing that's a ferry. So we got on, and they just waved us for the fun. And then another car came, and now it looks like they're actually taking us. So I guess we're going.
Do we know that there are not crocodiles here? It has every indication that there could be crocodiles here. God, I'd love to see one just kind of come out at her.
The road that we're riding right now is the Trans-Amazonic Highway. It ends in Labria, which is where we're going. So we're going to the end of that road. I should get your face as you're watching her.
No, no, no. My temperature gauge is reaching 42, 43 consistently, and that does not take into account having all your gear on. And for the most part, we're keeping up a good 70, 80 kilometers an hour, except when we get to the construction area where things just grind to a sandy, powdery, brutal halt. This is not an easy place to be, let alone riding through. And for the most part, the riding's been the easiest part of it. We have reached Labria, and we have reached the end of the Trans-Amazonica Highway. And this is the sign. We've got some really flabby chains here after all the heat, and they're very orange. So I guess now we know where the suntan comes from. The Amazon. destruction. Absolute fucking mayhem.
I feel bad for Whimsy because all of this noise, like, it is a lot. It's a lot for me as a human, and I'm just imagining her. Finally, she's now calmed down and she's sleeping, resting. But the fireworks are still going on. The partying is right in front of the hotel here. It's very loud music. I always wish that, like, the days or the time when she's off the bike, that we're in quiet and calm places, because she already gets so much stimulation from the riding. It's nice that she'd have a chance to just relax and be calm without too much noise and hoopla going on.
There's some sort of a town-wide political rally that's going on. Everybody's got the flags of their different candidates, and they've just been partying in the streets like it's the end of fucking days. We've reached about the 1/4 mark here, and this is where we get onto the little ferry boat and go across this enormous chasm of river here that is basically the size of the ferry plus another half a ferry again.
I rode through that construction site a lot better this time than I did the last time. I still didn't stand throughout the whole thing, but I did make an effort to do so. They put down some more soil or dirt, and then they put a water truck over it, and so it was muddy, so it got a bit slick. I had a few little squiggle scares, but I think it was a win.
I had a slow speed get off back there at the second of the 2 construction zones. I just hit a really big rock in the middle there, it kind of wigged me, and then I looked right into the rubbly side, and that's where I went. So we were kind of wedged in there. A couple of the guys came over and helped. Jess was able to get to steady ground and then came over and helped.
You stay.
And we had her back up. I got a little bit of a check engine warning, which seems to be just kind of a, like, you had a bit of a tussle, and check on this. It's not like a red flashing, shut down warning.
After Greg had his little tip over in the construction zone, he looked over his bike and he noticed that there was a screw missing from his bash plate, so it was rattling back and forth.
Which I think acted as a shovel and then did a big scoop.
So now he's got his stasher full of screws, so hopefully one of them fits and then he can tighten that. We only have about, I don't know, I want to say about 45 minutes left of the dirt, and then we will be off of the Trans-Amazonian Highway and heading towards a jungle lodge, which is where we'll be staying for this week. Greg is still trying to find screws to fit his bash plate.
The bolts are found. Success.
Supposedly.
We have run out of gas. We calculated this pretty poorly.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Now, is this permitted? Absolutely not. Is this harmful? No, of course not. So this is an ask forgiveness, not permission moment. Everything about this is a yes, and not just a yes, but a thrice yes.
It's not working out for us this morning. Okay, the shitty breakfast, cold coffee, and at least the sun is out. Let's go and stand in the sun.
They fell out of her pocket while she was using the bathroom. Do you have something to add, or are you just kind of your hand gesturing along with?
It's true, yes.
So that's the status report. It's got gorgeous color to it. I mean, this is like primo kind of, this is what you want to see. Do you feel your beard like braiding or something as you drink a Skull? Oh. What does it turn out that Jessica had bought and I've been carrying in my saddlebag? You gotta be shitting me.
Surprise, surprise, there is no cell signal in the Amazon.
In good tiger shark fashion, Whimsy has come to the Amazon to destroy it. Jessica always finds the most glamorous spots for us to wait for her. However,